when a client does come to that point in their journey where they maybe are going to cancel, if that happens, we can't help them anymore. So if they cancel their membership, we can no longer serve them. We can no longer help change their lives. And the truth is, Bryce, is that you're going to have highs and you're going to have lows when it comes to your actual fitness journey.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to weight loss.
Oh, yeah.
Myself included, I fluctuate 20 pounds with the seasons, right? And so our clients are going to have that too. And it's a lot of times when they're at kind of a low in their fitness journey, they're not really losing weight, they're not seeing the results that they want to see right now. That's when that cancellation kind of comes in their mind. But the truth is that if they can just stay a little longer, we can reignite that spark, we can reignite their passion, that we can then help get them back on track to losing the weight that they want, getting the results they deserve. And a lot of times, you have to have something non-fitness related to keep them going.
Welcome to the Fitness CEO Podcast.
Hey friends, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Fitness CEO Podcast. And before I tee up today's guest, I want to give you a friendly reminder. Give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, and that way we can keep producing this content for you for free. So today, to introduce today's guest, is a dear friend of mine. We call seven-figure CJ. Coming from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, owns 2 successful Fit Body Bootcamp locations, 7-figure earner. He's also part of our coaching and profitability team, and he is the mastermind behind our client engagement calendar, which gets our clients to stay, pay, and refer. Mr. CJ Wehrkamp, welcome back to the show. My man, CJ Wehrkamp, welcome back to the show.
What's going on, Bryce? So excited to be here.
Dude, so for those of you who have not connected with CJ, he was on one of our first episodes of the Fitness Franchise Podcast before we rebranded to FitnessCEO, and we have been planning this date back in the studio here for a few months. So back here, we're going to be talking a little bit about client engagement calendar because, my friend, this is your zone of genius.
Yeah, no, super excited about it. And it has been a while. I don't even remember the last time that we were together. It was virtually.
Yeah.
But glad to be in studio and, man, just give some more value, talk some more stuff, and help gym owners.
Totally. So CJ, and for our audience, like your zone of genius from my lens is culture building. It's relationship building. You have a massive location, 7-figure location actually in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We call you 7-figure CJ for a reason, but you're all heart. You're all love and care in your clientele, and it shows. You just launched a second location. So just kind of give our audience a little bit of backstory where you're at before we dive into client engagement.
Yeah, so we opened our first location in Sioux Falls. That was in 2015.
Yep.
And we had that location for about 6 years and grew that one, like you said, to well over 500 clients. And we hit that coveted $1 million mark for a location. And we opened our second location here in July of 22. So that location's been open now for about 7 months and moving right along. But yeah, just really, really dive in deep with client engagement. Dive in deep with client connection. And a lot of times, obviously, we're in a gym, a fitness business, but it's just really diving into the people and making sure that that connection is there and that the people that come to your gym have a safe place to get away.
And I mean, you probably touched on it a little bit, but like if you were to unpack your success, CJ, and we have an awesome coaching and profitability team where each of our franchise business coaches have certain zones of genius or areas of specialty, if you will. From your lens, if you look back in the last since 2015, with your incredible success, your first location, now a second location, can you give some commonalities on why you think not only you but your team has been so successful?
I think the biggest thing is when I look at it, my team, most of us have our own transformation story from being overweight, being out of shape, being low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And so we have really felt the change that you can feel through fitness, that you can feel through getting engaged with others. And for me in particular, when I look back, when I started kind of my gym career, going to the gym, it was in high school, and I started because I was overweight, out of shape, didn't have a lot of confidence, and so for me, that's what started it. But what I realized, I went to like the traditional, it was like a 24-hour type gym setting. That's what I went to. But for me, what I realized in that setting was it wasn't the losing of the weight. It wasn't the gaining of the muscle. It wasn't the changing of my appearance that actually made me feel any different. Mm-hmm. What it was getting connected with the people that I seen at the gym, but then them noticing me, like them showing me that I'm someone. And for me, what I wanted to do and kind of what clicked for me with FitBody was it took over a year for me with this gym. I'd go every morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd go. And it took over a year before I started. I seen the same guys. But for them, they've been doing this their entire life. And here I am, some young high schooler to them. And they didn't notice me, which I didn't expect them to. Now I didn't really even realize that was a thing. But then all of a sudden, it was like a year into my journey at the gym when one of the older gentlemen was like, hey, I've been seeing you coming for a while, and I just wanted to say, I'm proud of you. You're doing a good job. And that was the moment where it clicked for me, where it's someone believes in me. And then that created now a connection with those guys. And so now, yes, I look forward to going to the gym, but I look forward to meeting those guys again and talking with them and just catching up with them. And yes, they're older than me. We're not even at all in the same stage of life, but we started our day that way. And that's what got it going. And so with FitBody, it was hey, that took a year. How can I take it and collapse that time frame where you walk into the gym and maybe in a week, you're already meeting somebody. Maybe in a day, you meet somebody. And then from there, that clicks and you can just start building upon that journey. And so when I realized that, I wanted to go all in and figure out how can I make sure that I'm creating connections for these people that come to our gym and helping them just build a circle of influence that believes in them.
Dude, that is so awesome. And that for me, in my FitBody journey, it took me probably a year or so to really actually figure that out. Because similar to you, I was an overweight kid. Fitness was not part of my routine. So when I jumped in, getting fit, I was specifically looking for that result, right? To lose body fat, to put on lean muscle, and I did. And that was my first experience with a group, or it's actually personal training.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually until the group element of FitBody Bootcamp and the connections and the relationships that I really saw a huge impact in the connectivity, the retention, and the long-term success, because it's really the people that make this happen.
Yeah.
So CJ, I think you do that in spades. Before we actually jump in though to client engagement, counts as the theme of this episode, I talked a little bit about high level your a CAP coach, coaching and profitability for short. So that's for our audience. And again, if you haven't watched CJ's initial podcast episode, highly encourage you to check that out. But you are one of our 6 kind of esteemed franchise partners who basically coach our other franchise partners within the brand. So can you tell a little bit about, how that happened? What's your biggest fulfillment? And I guess what's your role within the company?
Yeah. So how the CAP role kind of came to be, it was a deal where I continued to get around as many of the successful FitBody owners as I could. FitBody has a mastermind, so I joined that. And just you go to those mastermind meetings and you rub shoulders with the other FitBody owners that are moving and shaking in the brand. And I just continued to want to level up as much as I could within the brand. And it was one of those things where, I believe it was honestly with you, just continually connecting with you and throughout the journey of ownership for myself, I reached out to you and you, at the time you were in the VP role.
Yep.
And I just reached out to you and I basically said, hey, I see that you guys are putting this CAP team together, and I would love to know what's it going to take for me to be able to have a seat at the table. And you kind of gave me some bullet point outlines of what you were looking for in a CAP coach, which is a coach that's obviously going to help the other owners succeed. And at the time when I reached out to you, there was not an open spot on the team. But I think really because I put myself out there, because I expressed to you that I was interested in it, and then really I took to heart what you had said and just took action on implementing those different things, that it came to be where the open seat at the table came up, and next thing you know, I got an email, I think first, asking if I had time for a call. We jumped on a call, and then from that, we made it happen. So love it. I mean, I absolutely love it.
You're a guy, man. The rest is history.
Yeah.
And I love that story. One, you're just a salt of the earth dude, man. I love you like a brother. And audience, the big takeaway there, and we teach this to our owners, that there's money in the transaction, but there's wealth in the relationship. And that goes far more than just your client interactions and the relationships. That goes with your fellow colleagues, with your franchise partners, just with life in general. So, the way you show up, CJ, the way you build relationships just is absolutely incredible. Made it really easy for me and the team. I think there's a great learning lesson for our audience there. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Take action and follow through.
100%. So that all said, kind of transitioning into the theme of today, which is
go.
CJ, man, this is your zone of genius. And to your credit, you brought this basically to our brand. So for the audience members who've never heard of what a client engagement calendar is, can you kind of tee that up?
Yeah. So it is something that, if I'm being honest, I don't really know if it's a real thing. Like, it is a real thing, but what I mean by that is, like, I don't really know if other gyms or other players in our industry do this. And it kind of came to me. I have to give credit where credit's due. I've got an amazing leadership team from Mama D, Vicky, Jensen, Renee. And we were sitting at a leadership meeting, and we always are doing these things to keep our clients engaged, and different activities to do at the gym, or different themed weeks or events. And my team came to me, and they're like, it'd be really nice if we had this thing laid out, because I'm kind of like a let's move on the fly type of guy. And for them, that can be difficult. So we were at a team meeting, and they're like, it'd be really nice if we could have this laid out for the year. Like, what are we doing every month? What different things are we going to put in play to really make sure that our clients are staying engaged?
And just to clarify here, we're not talking about a traditional marketing calendar in the sense of like attracting new clients.
Correct.
You need that too, and that's certainly, we have that at Fit Body Bootcamp. We've had that for a long time, but you're talking about how can you engage your current members in your gym?
Yeah, because what I've found is that, and I think we'll get into this even more, but a traditional gym owner, you are so focused on that external marketing, where you have that calendar. You know that in this month you're running this campaign, and it's going to be this many weeks at the gym for this price, and this is the program you're going to put them through. And that's great for new customers or clients or members coming through the door. But what about the ones that are there? Like, you just, hopefully they sign up, and hopefully they just continue loving it, and hopefully just by accident they stay. Well, I got to thinking, like, it doesn't make any sense to just leave that by accident. You have to have a calendar.
But why though? Like, were you having like an attrition in your gym? Was just like a gut feeling? Granted, you're awesome, your team, who, just shout out to all you lovely people that we've been able to become friends over the years. But was it their insight? Like, what was the pain point that made you realize that had this importance?
I think the pain point really that made the importance was that we were doing it, but we didn't have a calendar or a game plan. So I guess the pain point for me was we needed to get more clients involved in what we were doing, and we needed to have our team, because what was happening was the team was growing, and it was getting way too difficult for me just to say, hey, let's do this next week. So we had to have a game plan, because it wasn't really a retention issue, I would say, because we were already doing this, but we didn't have any structure to it.
So like, this is the culture of CJ. This is your zone of genius. Like, you just like to have fun. You basically, create an amazing environment, which is such incredible magic sauce for long-term retention. So what I'm hearing though, CJ, is you already kind of had this going on. That was a focus.
Yeah.
It just wasn't organized and streamlined for your team, which actually probably from a leadership perspective causes massive amount of problems, because your team needs to know what you're actually executing.
Yes. And so to that point, what I found out as being a cap coach and talking with all these other owners, and like, well, what are you guys doing this month to keep your current clients engaged? Because so many owners I'll talk with, they forget about the clients that are there because they're so focused on bringing in the new ones. And I was like, well, wait, you're not doing this, or you're not, doing a themed spirit week, or you're not, like, well, no, that, like, because again, it's a gym. It's not I don't know.
But that is such a big lesson, audience, because I've felt, guilty of the same thing when first going through my fitness transformation. I think, okay, I got the result. I lost 20 pounds of body fat. I put 20 pounds of lean muscle. That's exactly what everyone's going to do, which they do. But there's a lot more than that. There's a relationship, the culture. It's fun. Let's face it. Working out is not fun typically unless you create an environment that is.
Yeah.
Fair to say?
Yeah. The outside person looking into a gym, I really feel they're going to come for the results. They're going to come because they have something that they want to achieve and to change in their health and fitness. And to be honest, really, whether they hit that or not, they're going to stay for the relationships, the culture, and the community. Yep. And so what I've found with this client engagement calendar, and really what it is think about it this way. You put together a marketing calendar to bring new leads in. This is a marketing calendar that is put together and laid out so you know what you're going to do to keep your current clients interested in the gym. It's
like on a monthly basis.
On a monthly basis.
12 months out, you plan it out.
Yep.
And this is now what we've actually created on your back for a whole organization.
Yeah, and it's been really fun to see, and it's also been some challenges to see, because what you can implement at your own location versus then being able to put into play then for a whole organization to basically go and run with. There's a lot more thought that has to be put into it, which is great, but I think that's why so many people don't do it, because it's like, oh, I don't know, just give them a t-shirt if they lose some 10 pounds. Like, that's client engagement, right? And that's the way that I think people think when it comes to client engagement. Or
'cause that's weak sauce, baby. Make it fun. Let's go.
Right. That's right. It's got to be fun.
Yeah.
It's got to be. And the thing of it is that what I've found too is that so many different clients, like when we got our central location, upwards over.
That's your second location.
That's the first one. So central was the first, and then west is our second. Yep. But our first one, we got up well over 500 clients, and we had 525 clients when we opened west. And the thing of it is not every client is going to be interested in whatever client engagement you're running. And so that's why you have to have something that keeps it going, because maybe this month it's not interesting to them, whatever you're doing. But then the next month it is.
Just to interject here a little bit, can you actually maybe provide some examples? And I have a few actually like big ones that I really want to highlight.
Yeah.
But you mentioned, in this month, maybe the client, whatever reason, the client engagement calendar doesn't speak to that client, but next month it does. So you have to have some variety in there as well.
Yeah.
But can you give us a few examples of some programs or engagement that you've put in the calendar for Fit Body Bootcamp?
Yeah, so around Halloween we do a Spirit Week, right? So Spirit Week is super fun because what we do is think of high school homecoming week, right? And you're getting ready for homecoming week, and you go to school every day. It's the same thing, same classes, but then all of a sudden you've got homecoming week, and it's like now Monday you're wearing this, Tuesday you're doing that, Wednesday, and so all these different things, and now the whole high school is just rallying around homecoming week. So what we do around Halloween time is we rally our clients around Spirit Week, and we do the same type of thing where we take them through all these different things. But to that point, Bryce, some clients, they're not going to get hyped with that. And even thinking specifically of my location, I can vividly remember this moment. I was in the lobby, and we have one of our clients. He's just crushing it. He's over 50 pounds down, and it was one of the dress-up theme days. And I was just chatting with him a little bit, and he's like, kind of standing off to the side. And I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, this just really isn't my scene." But I'm super pumped for a great workout, And so for him, like, that wasn't like, they're all excited, they're dressed up, they're doing their thing, they're having fun. But for him, that wasn't his thing. But here now, another one that we're doing is the 10-pound challenge, where we're challenging our clients to really dive deep and get after it with their nutrition and lose 10 pounds in an 8-week period. He's all in on that one, because now that one, and the cool thing about that is actually, I just got two faces. You can either go at it through a coaching phase where you do pay a little additional, but you get the real hands-on coaching from a coach, or you can go at it with a no cost and just do it on your own. For him, he's like, I want to go on the coaching portion of it because I want to have more coaching help over the next 8 weeks. And dude's already lost over 50 pounds. Like, he knows what he's doing, but he's like, over these next 8 weeks, I'm going all in again. And so just that example right there is an exact example of what some weeks or events or campaigns will hit well with others, whereas some won't. And so that's why you have to have the continuation. And I always like to think of it this way. If you have a client, and at times they usually say that if a client cancels, they've probably been thinking about it for a little while.
Yep.
Well, if they're thinking about maybe canceling at your gym, but they know that a certain event is coming that they really want to partake in, that right there could be the thing that is enough to keep them at your location. And we want our clients to be happy at our locations and to be looking forward to what's happening. And if they know what's coming, now they can do that. Whereas even like I was talking before, I didn't used to have it planned out or engaged. And so maybe a client's thinking of canceling, there's nothing for them to look forward to because it's just whatever.
They have no idea.
They have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
And so right there is a huge benefit to your team, because one thing I wanted to chat on a little bit too is like, what is the benefit of having a client engagement calendar for your team aspect?
Totally.
And the big thing with that is your team needs to know what's coming up, because as you grow a location, a lot of times the owner of the location is very focused on the external marketing because that's where your brain goes. I need new leads. I need new clients, right? And so that's what you're focused on. Whereas now having this client engagement calendar set out for your team, they can know what's coming. And now they're not like relying on you as the owner. hey, what are we doing this month? Are we doing anything? Or are we not? They know exactly what's coming. And it just really makes your team be able to be more efficient and work better because they're confident in what's coming.
Totally.
They weren't.
And that's just good leadership, good communication, good expectation setting. And they're actually going to be way more bought into the calendar if they know what's, in advance. The one, I guess, specific calendar that you left out, which is just freaking awesome. We just rolled it out. We baited it last year, so we got a few dozen locations on board, but we actually raised over 100,000 cans of non-perishable food, which is incredible. So I'm going to tee up the food battle. What is that, and how did it come to be?
Yeah, I left it out actually on purpose because I knew that you'd tee that up because it's so awesome. And I got to give credit to Barrett, honestly, your brother, because Barrett, we were chatting and we're like, what can we do that we can really get behind as a brand that would be 100% client engagement, but also really serve to that. I mean, with FitBody and what we do at our locations, we want to be able to give back as well. And I know that holds a big dear spot in Barrett's heart. And so we were talking and we got together with this food battle. And really what it is it's a big charity play where we can really do good by giving back to our communities. And the thing I love about the food battle is the way that we lay it out is we have every location be able to find a local charity. Because one thing, I've been part of FitBody now for almost 8 years, and I absolutely love it. The thing that always was a little difficult is when FitBody as a brand would get behind an organization. It's amazing, and I love it. But that would leave a little gap for what about like local play, local charity play.
But why is that important, though?
Why that's important is that it just really ties in the aspect of my hometown community.
Because human nature, I mean, we're egocentric. I mean, that's the reality situation. And, if you can give back to your local community, you feel a lot more connection there, positivity, and you're going to get way more buy-in from your clientele. Is that fair to say?
100%. Yeah. And the clients, they absolutely love being able to get bought in and know that whatever it is that we're donating, which in this case is obviously non-perishable food items, is going to stay right there locally. And so it's super cool because the whole play that we do is called the food battle. And we, with this specific engagement piece that we rolled out, we were really able to play at a couple different factors. One of the factors being the competitive factor, being it's a battle, right? So all of our locations, and we had a trophy made and everything, and it's goofy, right? What's the trophy
But
do?
it got competitive, man. Like our owners from all across the country are like posting, hey, we donated this and we donated that, which, went along with the whole project.
It was super fun. Yeah. And because and the way that my mind works, which I've found that a lot of minds don't work the way that mine does, and that's okay. But I will go through an experience, and then I'm like, how can I recreate that for our clients? And so this actually goes back, and it's funny.
But hold on, that is like reverse engineering the experience that you've been able to provide your clientele. That's actually brilliant, CJ.
Yes.
So let's actually walk that through that, because you've said this many times on our CAP calls before, and it's just like, all right, I went through this awesome experience at this like service, and I was like, oh wow, I felt so amazing. How can I actually replicate that for my gym and my clients?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and so this particular moment, it was 2019, and I was sitting at World Conference, actually, and we're there listening, and Bedros is up on stage, and they're getting ready to do the franchisee of the year. And I have no idea. I'm just sitting there watching along at this time. Like, I was in the mastermind, but I wasn't super part of HQ at that point with anything. I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, he starts going through like the bullet points of what this franchise partner had done or accomplished. And I'm just kind of sitting there thinking, and at the time, I don't know if you remember Jess, but she was a manager of mine at the time, was sitting there with me, and we kind of look at each other, and it's like, that looks kind of like our location. And then all of a sudden, he announces the franchise partner of the year, CJ Wehrkamp. And all of a sudden, like this feeling I had inside of me, I was like, no way, like so caught off guard. And then I go up there, and he had this little blue box, and he opens up this blue box, and in it is this trophy. And it said 2019 FitBody Bootcamp Franchise Partner of the Year. And I was like, wow. And I was just so appreciative, like blown away that I had gotten this award. But that got me thinking, like, when's the last time someone's gotten a trophy for something?
Probably not ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, now, right, our kids, they're in these sports and they're getting trophies for just completing the sport.
That's a whole nother topic of conversation, unfortunately. But yes.
But even let's say we don't even say it's a different conversation. Let's say we say it's the same conversation. Okay, your kid's going to get a trophy for completing sports. They're not going to get another trophy probably ever. Right? And so to that point, when is the last time you got a trophy? Yeah, probably never. And so when I got that trophy, that feeling inside of me was like, how could I recreate that? And so again, speaking back to like what I've been able to do at my local location to then what we can like roll out brand wide, for a while now, we actually implemented, once that happened in 2019, probably for the last 2 years now, we've implemented when we have a client hit 5 years with us, they get a 5-year Hall of Fame trophy. And so like on their 5-year anniversary or real close to, when they're at a session, we'll kind of at the end of the session, we'll stop and kind of make it a big deal. The coach on the mic, just says, hey guys, we've got something really fun to announce today. And they're a little bit smaller trophies. But same thing goes, they pull up the client and really showcase that client for the love, the support, the investment that they've made into FitBody and also into themselves over the last 5 years. And they get this 5-year trophy with their name on it, and it says Hall of Fame. And I was thinking, though, like that's hard to roll out brand wide because there is an upfront cost, obviously, in purchasing those and everything. But I was like, this food battle has the opportunity to finally take that trophy sense and really get that going within our brand. And so now there's a trophy, and North Meridian, they won the trophy for the Food Battle 2022.
Shout out to North Meridian,
right.
Idaho.
Let's go. But now it's like, okay, I want to win that trophy. I want to win that trophy. So been super fun. And really the whole play, Bryce, is find a local charity where you can donate your non-perishable food items to, and then encourage all of your clients to be able to donate those foods. And then what we do is we like update throughout the battle so that way I can let my locations know, like, hey, Bryce's location, they're already at 6,000 items. Like, where are we at?
And that's when clients be coming in and be like, no, we start posting. And it's just like, that's actually where the magic happens.
Oh, it's crazy because then next thing you know, you've got pictures coming in because a lot of times too we have our private Facebook groups, right, for the gyms, and when all of a sudden now we've got clients posting in those groups, which again is client engagement. They're posting in those groups. Hey, I'm at Sam's Club. I'm at Costco. Like, Venmo me money if you want me to pick up some more food. Like, I had a couple clients at our locations, which I'm sure many did, was like they all Venmoed one client to go then shop and just buy as much non-perishable food items as possible. And like that's just so cool to get your and that right there. It's a gym.
It just separates you, positions you more than a gym because you are already, but ultimately you pull at the heartstrings, and that's just a cool thing to do. It creates so much fun, so much client engagement, so much retention.
Yeah.
We say we always try to get our clients because we can service them. We can inspire fitness and we can change their lives with our mission, but we want them to stay, pay, and refer. And when you basically create fun like this, awesome programs, that's what they do.
And here's the thing that I know about this is when a client does come to that point in their journey where they maybe are going to cancel, if that happens, we can't help them anymore. Like they're not in our ecosystem. So if they cancel their membership, we can no longer serve them. We can no longer help change their lives. And the truth is, Bryce, is that you're going to have highs and you're going to have lows when it comes to your actual fitness journey.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to weight loss.
Oh, yeah.
Myself included, I fluctuate 20 pounds with the seasons, right? And so our clients are going to have that too. And it's a lot of times when they're at kind of a low in their fitness journey, they're not really losing weight, they're not seeing the results that they want to see right now, that's when that cancellation kind of comes in their mind. But the truth is that if they can just stay a little longer, we can reignite that spark, we can reignite their passion to then really dive into their fitness journey again, that we can then help get them back on track to losing the weight that they want, getting the results they deserve. And a lot of times, you have to have something non-fitness related to keep them going.
Dude, this is awesome. All right, so for this section of the conversation, I want to kind of ask a two-part question, but really to put a bow on it, like 30,000-foot level. And there's two parts to this. Number one, CJ, what would you say is the biggest value that you've seen over the years in executing and kind of creating this client engagement calendar, which wasn't really a thing, but it became a thing at your location, and now it's become a thing on our brand and our retention has been exploding because of this. So what's the biggest value you've seen? And the flip side, since you've spearheaded this, and of course, credit to your team as well, what's the biggest challenges to implement this now it's your location, but ultimately brand wide?
Yeah, so the biggest benefit is totally seeing a client group absolutely love the gym that they belong to. This gym now becomes their gym, right? When you can see them posting on social media and say, my gym is doing this. Look what my gym.
They're taking ownership.
Yes,
of the
they're
gym.
taking ownership of the gym that they go to. That's the biggest benefit, because at that point, now this is part of their life. It isn't just what they go do for their fitness. It's what they go do for their mental health. It's what they go do for their social outing. It's what they go do to keep them sane. And it's their gym, right? So the biggest benefit is just getting them so bought in and loving the gym that they're part of, and knowing that the gym that they're part of is not just a gym. They're there to serve them in so many ways. When's the last time you've met a best friend? Like, you don't.
Yeah.
Where do you even meet people? Like, if you
hard.
think about it, the way that the society has been set up now to go meet new people, if you want to meet them in person, it's like you got to go to a bar. But a bar is not conducive of health and fitness in any ways, and a bar is super dead until late hours of the night.
Right.
And so for someone that is wanting to be successful in their career path as well, like, that's not the timing that we're wanting to be awake and go meet people.
I mean, that's not the time, the event for you guys, someone like you, like me, someone listening to this. So this creates like a fun, safe space where you actually can connect people with like-minded goals that you have.
Yeah. You get to create a bigger inner circle for your clients. And I've got so many clients that are now going to brunch together. They're going to dinner together. They're doing life together. And they met at the gym.
Yeah.
And one of the other ones was the Buddy Challenge. And I know we're getting a little off topic, but I want to talk about the Buddy Challenge quick, because what that was finding a buddy in the gym to do a challenge, and it's a month-long challenge. And it was over December, where historically for gyms, like, December is a tough month.
Tough time.
You know,
people are not focused traditionally on their health and fitness.
No. This one, not only are we going to help get them focused on their fitness in one of the most difficult months, we're also going to help them have a buddy that they hopefully meet at the gym go through this. And I was able to find some of our clients, so many of them were group fitness, right? So they go to the same session, they see the same people, but for some reason, it's just not in our natural human instinct to go and, like, connect with that person.
Right.
And so I see you every time. I wave at you. I'll say hi. Like, maybe I know your name, but a lot of times I don't even. I just know that I work out with you. But this Buddy Challenge then was like, hey, find someone in the normal session time that you go to, buddy up with them. Let's go through this challenge together. And it's like daily little activities that you do. And what we found was a lot of our clients would stick around like maybe 5-10 minutes after the session to do whatever the Buddy Challenge was together. And like, it just created so much connection, so much culture, so much. And from there, it then pushes into better results, because now I'm more inspired to go to the gym. Like, normally, today I didn't have the best day at work. Maybe I'm not going to hit my gym session. But wait a minute. I know Ashley's going to be there, or I know Tom's going to be there, or I know, put in whatever name that you hook up with at the gym is going to be there, and they're counting on me as well to get my session in. And so that right there, it just creates that connection. And if you don't manufacture that experience for it to happen, a lot of times it's not going to.
It's not going to.
No. So that right there is another reason why the client engagement calendar, it just makes sense. And we're not, as business owners or even as coaches, we try our best, but we're not able to just make those connections. They have to happen naturally.
They do, but you need to be able, to your point, be able to provide a structure and a focus in order for those connections to happen. Because to your point, if you leave it up to happen organically, you're going to have some very extroverted clients connect with each other, but the vast majority of times, to your point, those connections aren't going to be made without your manufacturing of that.
Yeah. And so, absolutely. One of the things that you asked, though, too, was looking at the client engagement calendar, what have we seen has been a difficulty?
Yeah, the flip side of that.
In rolling out. I would say the biggest difficulty is being able to have, it's very easy for me, and I've got two. It's really Vicky at my location and Renee, who Vicky helps like me create it, and then Renee at our location helps implement it.
Shout out to you both. Love you, ladies.
100%. So for them, it's very easy for me to go and just spill my brain and have them be able to make it happen.
Yep.
But now for us, for a whole brand is like, okay, does this make sense? For now, we're going to have a location that we've never met before, be able to read this document, be able to totally understand where CJ's brain's at, because a lot of times,
That's a tall order right there, my friend.
That's a tall order. Shout out to my wife for being able to figure out
Mel,
my
you
brain.
are a saint. We digress.
Back to the show. But so it's basically just making sure that, hey, do we have all the steps laid out so that they can go take this PDF document, have the inset videos where needed to watch on how to implement this, have the links on if they do need to order anything. And because a lot of times what we want to do is we want to have some type of asset that they
graphics.
can hang up in their location almost as like a flyer, as like what's coming. So make sure that that's all set. But if there's something that's maybe a little different, for example, I'm thinking of a refer and earn type thing. We recommend a certain price point of what you should give out as a cash benefit for referring friends to your location, but maybe another location's not going to be at a point profitability wise to be able to give out that amount right now. And so how do we create this asset where if this location's not quite giving out the same as we are, or maybe they're giving out more, it still makes sense, right? Or ideally, we want to have everything hit on the same week. But for some gyms, they've got something that they've already been doing for the last 5 years on that specific week. They really want to do the client engagement calendar, but this thing's already been in place. So how can they take these assets and make sure that they can still implement them maybe a week before or a week after their event? And so it's just really making sure that all the different assets that we provide make sense for the different locations. And then also too, I mean, I'm from South Dakota. I feel super blessed to have the clientele that we have. They shout out to Sioux Falls.
Amazing people. Holy smokes. Sioux Falls, you are some amazing people. There's something in the water there.
There is.
I tell you.
There is. And so a lot of times too, what is challenging for me is okay, this goes really well at my location. And then it's just like that second guessing yourself. But I think that's actually in way more than just this. That's in business everywhere.
Yeah.
Second guessing what you're putting out there. But it's just making sure it makes sense for all the different locations, all their communities. And the cool thing though is I'm so willing to take the feedback. And that's one thing I think when I was kind of talking with you about really putting this out to the entire brand, it's I have to be willing to maybe get some feedback that was not a good idea, or that didn't roll out the way that it planned. And the cool thing is I'm so willing to hear that and change it, adapt it, and make it better.
But I think that's just the value, not only of your execution, CJ, your whole team's execution, the part of our franchise system. At the end of the day, we run an agile franchise system. We're always testing things. To your point, the food battle, that was a beta test launch.
Yeah.
Got a lot of traction year one. We're going to hit 250,000 cans donated, 500,000, then 1 million cans donated. So it's just going to build. Consistency compounds with time. But I think for me, that is the huge value of what we're doing for our franchise partners. And it's interesting. While my role as the CEO of the company, I'm also a franchise partner, and I love it because what we're building from an HQ perspective, I can actually sit back and just literally let our team, our CAP team, and our HQ team's execution deliver all the assets to my local team. All my local team needs to execute, and I literally am hands off. And my gym's growing, and the connectivity's there, and I'm not alone. We have hundreds of franchise partners in that same way, which I think, CJ, is the huge value that you and your team has brought to our organization.
Oh, it's huge, and I'll tell you, it's huge. Like you said, for my team, because right now with where I'm at in the role that I play with our 2 locations, and getting more involved and really making sure that we're creating all these different assets and plays for our partners, for franchise partners, is now I'm getting my leadership team super plugged in to the franchise. And now I can let them really learn from the franchise and level up their leadership so that they can really continue to lead my locations. Because when you have a location that is growing and it's doing really well, and you've been that face in your location, and then to remove it, it's hard. And so you need to have a strong presence that's going to come in there and replace it. And having the structure that we have within our Fit Body gyms, we can have HQ really lead whoever you put in that role, which is amazing because with the CAP team, I do have multiple owners where my main point of contact is not the owner. It's actually their head coach or their integrator at their gym. And now I'm getting on CAP calls with them, and the owner is just kind of there, and they're really providing the funding and the support and being everything from the financial aspect.
Yep.
But now that integrator or that head coach, they're connecting with me. They're able to then really scale that location. And the cool thing about it, and what I have noticed, especially within the Fit Body owners, like they want nothing more than to see their team win.
Be successful, yeah.
And then what they do is like they share, right? Like
totally.
you grow the gym, and like I'm not going to just pocket all these
No,
profits.
no.
I want to share it with you and grow you. And then the cool thing too is like maybe one day Fit Body ownership becomes in their wheelhouse, and now they're off running their own location. So it's just been super cool to see these assets, because these assets that we are having created with Fit Body, like it's what you need with the franchise.
Okay.
And I've talked to, and this is going to sound, I don't know, call it cliche or whatever, because obviously I'm part of Fit Body, but I have talked to multiple other, now being in this game for 8 years, friends that are in different franchises, and they're just like, the connection's not there, right? The connection to their corporate headquarters is not there. And I'll tell you, Bryce, I actually started seeing that most through COVID. I've seen that most through COVID, but even now, just connecting with some of them, I've got different franchise partners that are friends of mine that own in multiple different, from Orange Theory to 9 Rounds to all the different major players in the game. But they said that their corporate office does not support them near the way that we are. And I'm like, to me, like, I don't get it, because I'm like, why would you not? Why would you not do that? But it's not common.
That's what we are, man.
Take the uncommon path.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, CJ, man, this is awesome. We could talk forever about this, but I did want to just kind of put a bow on it, man. This has been so valuable. I'm so grateful for your vision, for your execution, for your team's vision on that. And then, of course, for you to be able to support all of our franchise partners and our clients worldwide. This is an incredible initiative. So
Yeah, for sure.
Putting a bow on this aspect of the conversation. We have a few minutes left for lightning round. If you're still up for it,
I'm up. Let's go.
let's go. First question: zone of genius. And I alluded a little bit, CJ, but from your lens, what would you say has been your zone of genius on your success over the last 8 years?
Yeah. So I would say that, of course, Zone of Genius is going to be client engagement. It's going to be those connections. Just like I spoke to you in the beginning of this whole show, was that my experience starting off was that kind of being recognized by someone else. Is now what I'm doing is I'm recognizing now my team, because what I've realized is when you start growing, like your team has to then be the ones that are really connecting with your clients and growing it. And so I'm able to step back, and my zone of genius is to be able to see the next thing that we're going to take action on for our locations, be able to totally love up my leadership team, help them totally understand where I want to go with it, and then watch as they then take it to our team and to our clients.
Love it. Next question. Say our audience member is not so privileged to be part of Fit Body Bootcamp, where they have this awesome client engagement calendar already mapped out and executed and pushed out, all the graphics and assets done. Where would a normal gym member start in this initiative?
I think the biggest thing to understand and where you should start is to realize it's a thing. Realize that you need to put focus on your current clients and have something that they're looking forward to. And I would say the biggest place to start would be to have a play where it's just different daily activities that, and it's like a bingo card basically, right? But it's a bingo card, it's all laid out, mapped out, and it's like, hey, on this day, you need to get in 30 squats every time you do X, right? But it's an engagement play where you're keeping your clients engaged, and it's all mapped out, super easy. You'd put it all down there as a bingo calendar, let your clients take action on it, but just get them involved outside of the gym.
Love it. Next up, looking back at your younger self, CJ, before 2015, you've had just this wealth of personal growth experience over the last 8 years, but what would you tell your former self before opening your first location to help you on your path?
I would say that looking back, especially over in the last 8 years from growth, I wished I would have been able to understand, and I'm really glad that I do now. Don't be so focused on the future that you forget to have fun in the present. And I say that because business is tough. Life is tough. I've got a wife. I've got 3 kids. And I'm actually privileged to be able to say that right now, that I have a wife and 3 kids. I would definitely be able to say that I have 3 kids, but it takes a lot from you. And I think that I have always been so focused on like the future success of my locations and what I'm doing that I forgot to be present with what I had in front of me, specifically to my wife. And, I'm just very thankful now that I realize that, and that I am creating those moments with my wife, and that Mel and I can be together doing what we're doing. So for anyone that's looking to go, have big dreams, have big wants, big desires, but I think that if you forget to be present, you're going to miss out on a lot. So, yeah.
Wise words, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, take us home. Last question for you. The name of this podcast is the FitnessCEO podcast. So from your lens, CJ, what does it mean being a CEO to you?
Yeah, being a CEO, it's literally everything. You are the CEO of your life. And I think so many times people think of CEO and they think that the only way they can be a CEO is if it is of a company or of an organization. And the truth is, Bryce, every single person watching this show, you are the CEO of your life, and you need to realize that you are the one in control of every decision that you make. So boil that down to your day-to-day, and when you realize that you are a CEO, you're going to start making decisions in a whole different way, because every decision that you make affects your life.
Boom. Mic drop. My man.
Dude, love it.
Dude, so happy to have you back round 2. This was awesome. Friends, I know you got a ton of value today. Assume you did. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, share this with someone in need, so that way we can keep producing content for you for free. So that's all today, CJ. Appreciate you, buddy. And friends, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, guys.